Hello, I'm Benny Westside, and today we're going to talk about Emma Frost X-Men. Welcome to the Crash Course. We're going to discuss her abilities, T4 upgrades, ISO 8 options, Awakening, Dark Dimension prospects, how far you should build her. I'll talk about my plans. And we're going to discuss why she's super valuable for Battle World. But before we get into that, when I start these off, I always put out the graphics and the videos in tandem. Well, this time, sadly, I haven't had the time to do the graphic.
Pathetic.
But if and when I do create it, I will put the link in the description below. But for now, we have the video, so I hope you like it. But let's get into it. Alright. Her passive, Reformed Queen, Brilliant Teacher. On spawn, she's going to apply defense up to self and all allies. That's in any game mode, regardless of tag. That's really big. She's going to bury herself and all Astral and X-Men allies on spawn in any game mode. The first time this character or an Astral ally drops below 50% health, clear all negative effects on that character, and then barrier that character, again, regardless of game mode. Now, the most important line in this character's kit. Non-mythic enemies cannot have their speed increased except by positive effects. So, speed up. Speed up, she doesn't do anything. She doesn't affect speed up, but any other passive effect that increases speed, so like Red Hulk's charges, Daredevil, Sasquatch, Ronin passives, I think North Star passive, all of those characters that do a team-wide speed buff, she's gonna neutralize that. But the most important for our current discussion, Null. He gets 10% speed per rage on him, which means towards the end of the fight, he's just constantly taking turns. But Emma's gonna come in and say, nope, you can't do that. This is going to really impact your score on the Null boss. If you're super concerned about the leaderboards, you might even want to buy her or core for her. But when you unlock her, I think she's going to be a staple for those boss fights in Battle World. This is just insanely valuable for that fight. But again, I don't think it's gonna make a difference in terms of clearing. So if you're just worried about completion rewards, I think you're fine. But if you and your alliance are pushing those Battle World leaderboards, this is gonna be really big. All right, that was her most important thing. All right, let's keep going. The T4 upgrade in Battle World. Whenever this character, an Astral or an X-Men ally gains Disrupted, she's gonna clear all Disrupted and apply immunity on that character. I think this is very good. I don't know if it's crucial. I think Null does apply Disrupted, but I think this is very valuable. Now let's look at the T4, or the Awakening, which is that exact line applied to War. Again, I'm not going to say this is essential, but the good thing is we're getting this one for free. I don't remember where it is. I think it comes from daily Battle World completion, maybe? Not weekly, but daily. But I know we're getting this currently passively. So we're all gonna have it free to play. So, I mean, do it. It's a very good ability. I don't think it's essential, but you know, d- not having disrupted on your team is very nice. All right, let's look at her special. 4 out of 4, Dazzling Domination comes ready. Attack primary target for 200% damage, plus apply ability block for 1 turn and defense down for 2 turns. So we have a turn 1 ability block. Her speed is low, if I recall correctly. 117? 111, okay. Alright, a late turn 1 ability block. She's gonna mind control the enemy with the highest damage to attack the primary. The controlled enemy gets damage, and then she's gonna apply offense down to the controlled character. I would hope she does this afterwards, after the attack. Apply defense up for 2 turns to self and all allies. Again, tag blind, mode blind. The T4 upgrade increases the damage, and then in Battle World, she's gonna bury herself, all Astral, and X-Men allies. I think this is a nice upgrade. I wouldn't call this essential. Barrier is nice, but it's not flashy, right? It's very nice. Don't get me wrong, but yeah. The Awakening adds the barrier to war. Again, I think it's nice to have, but I don't see it as essential personally. One nice thing like self synergy is she applies barrier on spawn to those characters, and then because she's so slow, by the time she takes her turn, that barrier might have worn off, so she's gonna replenish it on her turn 1. So it's nice. The ultimate Psychic Wrath, it comes on turn 2. Attack the primary target for 200% damage. Actually, if the Ancient One or Shadow King crit before Emma goes, the Ancient One will give energy to her, so that actually she might have this on turn 1. Attack the primary target for 200% damage. If this character does not have trauma, copy and clear all debuffs except stun from Astral and X-Men allies to self, and then she's gonna copy and clear it from self to primary. This is similar to what some other characters do. Lizard does it on a special. What she does is she transfers it to the enemy. Mind control all enemies adjacent to the primary to hit the primary. The controlled characters gain extra damage. And then she's going to bury herself and all allies. Again, tag blind, mode blind. That's very nice. The T4 adds increased damage for her attack. And then it adds a 10% percent damage, which is very nice. So for Battle World, again, for that null boss, this is very, very valuable. And then she's going to apply immunity to self and all Astral and X-Men allies. I am going to mark this as an essential upgrade. I think this is very good. That percent damage to null is going to be nice. It's on a 5-turn cooldown, I know, but with crits, that cooldown is going to be lower. And then overall, I think adding that immunity is very nice. Alright, now let's look at her basic. Attack the primary target for 200% damage. Apply regeneration to the most injured ally or self, plus barrier that character for 10% of this character's max health. Like all Astral characters, when mind controlled or darknessed, she's going to be doing less damage to Astral, which is once again great for that null fight. The T4 upgrade adds increased damage, and then it also adds an additional regeneration to the most injured ally for 2 turns. I think this is a nice upgrade. Not essential. If you run her as striker, I think you would want to go for this. It's up to you. It's up to you. All right, now to recap, the passive is very good but not essential, but highly recommended. The ultimate I'm calling essential. The special, very nice, but not essential. Both the T4 and the Awakening. And then the basic is nice, and I would recommend it especially if you're gonna run Striker. Otherwise, it's fine. Now, since we talked about Striker, let's talk about ISO choices. On this team, something very important is the Ancient One generates ability energy when one of them crits. So having Raiders is really valuable. My recommendation is having at least 3, perhaps up to 4 or 5, but at least 3. The thing with Emma is all of her abilities are single target because most of her damage comes from mind controls. But beyond the mind controls, it's a single hit on her basic, single hit on her special, and single hit on her ultimate. I would say, actually, Emma Frost would be a good or a fine striker for this team because of those regenerations. You might want to do Moondragon and Doctor Strange as strikers because those guys do percent damage. Moondragon does 5%, Doctor Strange does 3%. I think I would like to throw Emma's hat in the ring because she applies those regenerations. It's up to you, really, up how you play, and you can test it out. My recommendation would be to run Moondragon as a raider. Sorry, Moondragon as a striker, Doctor Strange as a raider, and Emma Frost as a striker as well. In fact, I took Strange Raider into Purple ISO myself on my roster. And I'm going to start Emma as a striker. If something changes, I can change down the line. But I think for now, she'll be a decent striker for the team. I don't think she brings much value as a raider. Yeah. Now, we talked about ISO. Again, also, she has an ability block and an ability that transfers negative effects. If she's super small, you can run her as a skirmisher. That's the case for all characters. If they're too small for the content that you're running and their focus isn't enough, you can use skirmisher as a focus crutch. But I don't think skirmisher is like a final option for her. I think striker is a better choice. All right. Now, building. While in the ISO section, we said most of her damage comes from mind controls. That was sort of like a detriment against Raider. Now it's a positive in building her because a lot of her kit doesn't rely on her having stats. Of course, it's better. It's going to increase the amount of barrier that she gives her allies, which is fantastic. It'll increase her focus. It'll increase the power of those regenerations that she gives out. And then, of course, it will increase her survivability. But if you're low on resources, I am, for example, she is the one on this team where you can sort of leave her lower and be fine with it. Similar to the original Emma Frost that we have in the game, she's kit based, so you can rely on her kit and just keep her maybe at gear 16, 17, up to you, at a fortifier maybe for survival, or skirmisher for the ability block and the extra focus crutch. So that's up to you, but you can leave her lower. Um, but as with any character, she gains she gains more survivability and focus as you build. So you can just go all the way if you wish. But she's mostly there to exist, like just to spawn and like be alive, so that she can prevent that speed bump to null. Now, granted, with rage, null's damage increases, so if she's small, she'll die easier, and Strange can't revive her because null has a permakill, and then like that speed prevention goes away, I believe. So it's up to you. Outside of the null fight, she can definitely be small. In there, any and all stats are valuable. So that's my recommendation. You can get away with lower, but higher is better. Alright, Dark Dimension prospects. Now, having a lot of mind control is nice, but beyond that, she doesn't really have sustain. She's very slow, and I don't think her cooldowns are going to sustain her in Dark Dimension. Who from her team qualifies? Moondragon and Doctor Strange don't qualify for her sections. It's only Ancient One and her. Shadow King is a legendary, so it would be those two. They would need somebody that's gonna heal them a lot, because the other heals on the team are in Cosmic. I would not recommend her personally. It's up to you. You might be able to make her work, but I don't think she brings enough to be carried in that fashion. Her being slow is a big minus for her. Of course, being able to ability block is nice. Mind control in Dark Dimensions is nice, but those are on cooldowns. You would need an Ancient One to give her energy, but Ancient One gives energy when Astral Allies crit. When it's just the two of them, that might not happen as often. So as I'm talking through it, I'm kind of convincing myself against it as well. Not that I didn't start off needing convincing on this. I don't think she's a good choice for Dark Dimension. Yeah, that's my argumentation for that. In terms of my plans, I'm not buying her. I haven't been buying characters for a long time. I think I bought Gladiator and I bought Thanos. I didn't even buy Gore, and I think that was it for me for buying anything. And actually, maybe since Thanos came out, I think I only spent $30 on the game after that. So definitely not spending, but like if I was trying to shoot for the moon on the null fight, I would want to buy her. I think she's a decent choice to buy, especially because on this team, the next character presumably is Shadow King, unless they stick some other character in between. So we should be getting him soonish. And then Ancient One you might collect by then, perhaps, maybe, probably not. But like having her would complete the team, and then having her is also that key into that null. So like I do think she would be a decent character to buy. I'm just not currently buying characters. $50 for a bear unlock? No, thank you. But sorry. Actually, you know what? We know what offer I would like to buy. $30, 2-star unlock but it's an upgrade token, and it takes you to either gear 15 or 16, level 80, 85. Doesn't need to include the T4s, but it'll give me a character that I can start with, as opposed to going raw. And I don't want to spend $50 on character unlocks unless it's somebody that's I think is super crucial. I don't want to spend $50. And the game currently right now, we're just scrolling through content and click and claim. Like what am I spending money on? I'm not enticed. So I'm not dropping $50. If they start to give out those $30 tokens, then you might start seeing me buying more characters. Not right now, not at the current price point. I don't think that's interesting. Anyway, sorry for the tangent. When I do unlock her through natural methods, I will build her up, probably all the way, immediately. I do think she's a valuable character. This passive speed increased prevention, I think, is very impactful, and I'm excited. I like that she has some soft X-Men synergy. I'm interested and excited to play with her. But yeah, I'm just gonna wait to unlock her through natural means. And when I do unlock her, I'm gonna build her and make her a striker. I will put T4s in all of her abilities. Yes. I have a lot, and I think these are good upgrades, so I will do that. All right. Dark Dimension, my plans. I think we're done. Yeah. I maybe perhaps by the time this video goes out, I can squeeze in that graphic, but they gave us the null kit. I'm probably not even gonna have that graphic by the weekend, so more than likely both of those graphics are coming on the weekend. But keep an eye out for it. I'll put it in the description whenever I do have it. But in the meantime, let me know what your plans are. Have you been buying characters or other offers? How do you feel about the game? Currently, as I said, I'm not really excited about the game, and I don't know if I'm alone on it. I haven't really had too much time to discuss with others, but it's feeling so stale to me and not exciting. How are you guys feeling? Am I alone? Is everyone else having fun, or are we just upset about it together? I would like to know. And let me know your plans for Emma Frost. I'm excited for this character. I hope it doesn't take too long to get her. Thank you for going over her crash course with me. I hope to see you in the next one.